Oh, yeah. Hey, look, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Old School Finance with Abraham and Friends. Oh, yeah. We done brought that new year in. We sitting in March. So January, February is already gone. 3 months into the new year. And it's time to get rocking, rolling. New Year's resolutions are over. What do we do? I said, oh man, that's a nice little beat to take us into the new year. Oh yeah, old school. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode. You know something? We done kicked off the new year, and I was like, you know what? What could I put together to help people navigate past the New Year's resolutions. Um, Paint a different picture and still have enough time in the new year to execute it and say that you actually can look back in December and say, you know what, that actually works. So I said, you know what, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what can I put together? I'm saying it's the start of March. For y'all tax return folks, April is coming, so get ready. But we making a little bit of money in the tax returns. So, what can we do to try to get ready? And I said, you know what? I'm going to put together some PowerPoint presentations because who doesn't like a good PowerPoint presentation? So let me bring it up. Okay, let me test out my social media skills. Add my little slides. We're going to bring those in and we're going to talk about something that I know a little bit about. I call it work is overrated. It's overrated. We go into work every day, we do different stuff, but at the end of the day, work is overrated. And some of y'all might be saying, what is he talking about? Work is overrated. Work is a necessity. Work is a necessity, but we want to work smarter, not harder. So I said, well, let me come up with a couple of things that help people kind of lay down a foundation for 2024 and kind of build something a little bit different, see something a little bit different. So the title might say work is overrated, but you're going to have to put some work in order to achieve this goal. And achieving this goal, we're trying to achieve building financial wealth. So let's kick it off with, it's only 2 slides. So I don't want anybody to get nervous and be like, oh, it's a bunch of slides. It's only 2 slides. Kicking off with the first slide called Same Old, Same Old. Same old means that we've been doing the same old thing every year, year after year. Or we've been following the same pattern, the same blueprint. We haven't made any changes to it. Getting a mortgage. We go from living with our parents or living with grandparents. Then we get out on our own. We go into an apartment or we buy our first house. But we going through a pattern. And that pattern is same old, same old. We get a mortgage. We got to pay taxes. If you don't put down the 20%, you got to pay a PMI insurance. And then we got to pay on the interest of that loan for the next 30 years. Oh, man. Woo. 30 years. Who gave out this blueprint? Now, for everybody out there want to get themselves a new car, you're going to pay the car, you're going to get a loan payment, you got to pay insurance, you're going to pay interest on the loan for the car. Same old, same old. And then, oh yeah, we got to have some credit cards because sometimes we got to put some gas in the car and we ain't got no money in our pocket. So you're going to get a credit card. It's going to have an annual percentage rate now looking like 29, 35%. It has changed so much in the last 3 to 5 years where they are putting those charges out there, hoping you're going to carry a balance on that credit card so they can hit you with that finance charge. I challenge everybody to go look at their credit card statement. On your actual credit card statement, it will tell you, based off your current balance, how long it will take to pay it off. Take a look. See what's out there. But you just don't get a credit card to get a credit card. Don't do same old, same old. 401k. Oh, my bad. No 401k. Well, I don't have the money invested in a 401k. It's one of the few investments that you have where your employer can match up to a certain percent. If you put in $5 and they put in $5, simple math, so you got $10. That is 2 people working toward an investment that you can utilize when you get to retirement age. Now, in this day and age, who knows when retirement age might be? It might be 25 for you. It might be 35, maybe 55. 70, the new retirement age? Well, I don't know if I can run, jump, and skip at 70, so I'm gonna have to take mine a little bit earlier than that. But at the same old is what we're looking at. It's that same old blueprint. In order to achieve financial wealth, we're gonna need something a little different. Remember I told you, it's only 2 slides. If you can't get it in these 2 slides, I don't know what's going on here. We're trying to build a new blueprint. So we know what same old look like. Mortgage, new car, credit cards, no 401ks. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do. Let's move over to a wealth building slide. Here's the thing about wealth building. You don't have to make major changes. You can just make minor tweaks. A tweak here, a tweak there. Guess what? Next thing, you're looking at a nice financial foundation. One of the very first thing I would say, find yourself some learning tools that you like. Some people like reading books. Don't go out there and buy a book at the bookshelf that says finance on it. At a minimum, get yourself a library card at your local library. Go in there and check out a book for free. I guarantee a library card will give you more information than Barnes and Noble will ever give you for free. Podcasts. There are a lot of podcasts out there that's going to talk to you about finances. Here's the biggest thing you want to keep in mind. You have to know what right looks like before somebody else can tell you something about right. I'm going to say that again. You have to know what right looks like before somebody else can tell you what right looks like. So you got to do your own homework, your own due diligence. For all those folks out there to be like, oh, it's so painful to learn finance. I don't understand the verbiage. Refer back to number 1 that says, learn the language, find a book, find a podcast, get a lecture, get a group of friends together and say, you know what? We're going to go to the local college or we're going to find us an event that talks about finance. Wait a minute. Not somebody trying to sell you something because that's not wealth building. You want somebody that said, hey, you know what? I just want to sit down. I want to talk to y'all about finance. Somewhere in your friend circle, you have people that know people that work at banks, people that lend out loans. Say, hey, can you come over and talk to my friends? You know, just a casual, impromptu get together where you get to learn the language about a process that you can repeat, which takes us into the other step, building a process. You know what? One of my processes is, and most of y'all gonna be like, I do the same thing. Anytime I break $1 or have some change left over, I go drop that change in a little drawer, in a little box. And I build that box up every year. And that's what I use with my vacation money. You can use a jar, you can use a ashtray, whatever. But here's the thing about it is, you want to create a repeatable habit that don't feel like you're pulling teeth. Have an accountability partner. Somebody you can bounce things off of, somebody you can talk to, somebody that's going down that same wealth building journey. Now, wait a minute. The spender of the accountability is probably not the person that you want to work with to build wealth with. I'm not saying that you can't go out and spend money with them or have a good drink and a good party, but you probably want to find somebody with that has that accountability in them, that might be a little stickler for savings, investing, somebody to keep you on track, somebody to keep you tethered to the road forward on your wealth building journey. Here's the thing about it is, expecting someone else to know your process. Don't do that part. Nobody's going to know your process better than you. You have to know your process because you have to know what your end game is. You know, I was talking to some friends in the last few weeks and I'm like, hey, so you want to do finances? What do you want out of it? What do you want to get to? What's your financial end game? All this work you want to put into it. What do you want? I don't know. When you say you don't know, what do you mean? You don't have an exact number? You don't know? You want to be living comfortable? You want to be able to travel? I mean, no, I'm just not sure. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Get back with me in a few years when you figure that part out. So you got to have a process in place that takes you somewhere. You can't just aimlessly drive around, or you can't aimlessly fly all over the world with no direction. So when somebody says, hey, what is your wealth building goal? What's your end game? So you know what? I want to be able to live comfortably. I want to be able to travel at a drop of a dime. I want to be able to eat at whatever restaurant. Well, that's going to cost you about $4.5 million. So let's get to work. At least now you know what direction you need to go into and you have an end game. It'll change. It'll grow when you grow. It'll change as you learn different things. So if you learning, got your learning tools in place, guess what? Your end game is going to morph into something different. You're going to be able to see something different. Now, some people are like, okay, what are some tools out there I can use to build wealth? Certificate of deposit, something that's not really talked about in the news. You're not going to see it on the finance channels, but you can invest an amount of money in there and you can do, they'll tell you what the percentage is. You calculate the percentage based off the amount that you put in, and you take that amount and you divide it by 12. And that tells you exactly what you're going to make for the next year when you put your money in a certificate of deposit. You can do an annual distribution where at the end of 12 months it matures, you get all the interest that you've earned, or you can do a monthly distribution, and every month that same amount that you divided 12 by is paid every month, and then you can withdraw that money. If you got more questions about certificate deposit, go back and look at my other episode, and I break down the certificate of deposit and how much you can make when you invest in a certificate deposit. Pay yourself first. You pay them bills, pay yourself first. Now, when I say pay yourself first, you can't give yourself all the money, but you can create a habit where you pay yourself first. Either you're investing in stocks or mutual funds or bonds or CDs, or you're putting money in an emergency account. But you have to understand that you create a habit to pay yourself first. Now, they got high yield savings account out there now. That's the talk of the town. Get yourself a high yield savings account. You still have to get a habit of putting that money into that high yield savings account. So what I do is every 2 weeks I get paid. I go to the ATM and I draw out $50. That $50 I drop into a box. It's just a habit. $50 drop in a box. Everything that's left over from that ATM withdrawal, I spend it all to the ground. It's gone. Now, if I get some change, I throw the change into the box. You get a mutual fund, learn first what mutual funds are. I recommend an index fund because it covers what we understand. When I say what we understand as investors, what I mean is you can go into a mutual fund, look at the top 10 holdings, and in those top 10 holdings, if you can recognize 7 of those top 10 holdings, it's probably an investment that you can invest in because you know what you're looking at. If you see Google, you see Meta, you see Pfizer, you understand and know what the market is for those. And if something happens on the news for any one of those companies, if you heard Walt Disney, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, Walt Disney. I'm invested in Walt Disney. And you own a little bit of company. Mutual fund, you pull together the resources of many people and that they invest in a mutual fund. It's a great way to invest. It's structured. Individual stocks. Everybody has their opinion about individual stocks. I personally buy stocks that pay dividend. Coca-Cola hasn't gone anywhere, and Coca-Cola pays dividends. One day those dividends will be able to fund something that you want. The key to stock market for me is I want to accumulate enough dividends to buy me shares of stocks. So I no longer have to put my own money in. Now I get dividends that buy me shares. Dividends is cash that the company has that they pay out to stockholders. Let me say it again. Dividends is cash that the company pays out to stockholders. You have to be a stockholder in order to get the dividends. If you own one share of Coca-Cola and they're paying 50 cents per share for dividends, guess what? Every quarter you get 50 cents. So 4 quarters in a year, guess what? You made $2 and you didn't go to work for it. So keep that in mind as you start to build your portfolio and build your foundation. You can get ETFs, electronic traded funds. It's another tool for building wealth. Now, the simple way to build a foundation is execution. Got to execute. It's once you execute and you start to see what you start to achieve and you start to feel it, you'll be like, wait a minute, I've been doing some things. Now I can actually look into my account. I can see that growth. Then you're on your wealth building journey. It's going to be a long journey. It's not a once you throw it out there, pew, you gone. No, this is one of those things. It's on the road to building wealth. But once you learn how to build wealth and then you start doing that process over and over again, you're going to go ahead and see a whole different vision to how you get to your end game. Now, I couldn't get out of here without giving you one of these hot stove topics. Now, for everybody that don't know what a hot stove topic is, ask somebody over the age of 50. Ask somebody over the age of 30. Hot stove topic. Here you go. Now, don't let somebody jump off the bridge and you jump off behind them. Don't follow somebody else's investment strategy. Follow your own. How so? Hey, no, just because you jump off the bridge, don't mean I'm gonna jump off the bridge. So be mindful of what works for one person may not work for another. Do your own research, do your own homework, create your own portfolio, build it. Hey, everybody, thank you for another episode of Old School Wealth Building with Abraham and Friends. Always a pleasure to come out here and try to help at least one person on their wealth building journey. Talk to you later.